2 videos back to back. You guys are spoiled. The 2 people who watch my shit, my best friend and my boyfriend. This damn camera. It's straight as my sister. My sister's a lesbian, so not very straight. But, hi, welcome back. Another video. As you can tell by the title, we are going to be talking about reviewing 2021. I had one good thing. I had 2 good things come out of... I had a few good things come out of this year. Now, before people ask, yes, I dyed my hair, and these are acrylics. They're supposed to be like a pink, but they look white-ish. I think it's my ring light. It's too bright, but I don't want to prick with it, so I'm just not going to. 2021 started off with me engaged. I was in a long-term relationship for about 3.5, 4 years, and we had broken up previously that year. We broke up previously in 2020, and then we got back together in 2020, which ironically, our anniversary would have been my current boyfriend's birthday. So, it's kind of funny. It's also really awkward when I think about it, so I don't like to. But, there's a lot from the beginning of this year I do not want to remember. I do not want to remember that man living in the house with him and his friends and just the bullshit that he put me through. I'm not going to spew everything because I feel like I've said my piece enough. He can go to hell, and die in a ditch. So, yeah. I'm over the person, but I'm not over the bullshit he put me through. Does that make sense? Like, when I think about it, how good my boyfriend treats me, and how my ex-fiance I lived with treated me like an absolute piece of shit, like I was beneath him, an absolute pain in the ass, it makes me pissed. But now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of what I wanted happened this year. I got a job. I'm working with my mom and my sister-in-law, and I actually like it. There's a lot of people that I don't get along with at work, unfortunately, and it's more or less just because they're sexist. So that's more or less the only thing. That and a lot of them are just morons. They're fucking morons. But other than that, I like the majority of my coworkers, and I do like my job. It's a little messy. We put stuff together for semi-trucks. That's all I'm gonna say. But it's really not that bad. And I got this job in September, I want to say. I know I have a video on my channel of me getting ready for my first day. When was that? First day at work 2 months ago. Get ready with me. October 2nd was when I posted it. Started my first day of work this week. Yeah, so it was the end of September. And it was on Monday. So it was the 27th. Yep. And my sister-in-law started on like the 22nd. So that was really nice. We started that around the same time. Go back to February. My ex had broken up with me. Fast forward to April, I figured out the piece of shit had cheated on me. From February until April was rough. Now, I'm meaning, like, I was having anxiety attacks and panic attacks and everything like that, and obviously, like, I didn't work at the time. I uploaded a lot of my content, but at the same time, I was not filming as much as I wanted to. I was not filming probably as much as I should have. But at the same time, I was really proud of myself for being confident enough to share what it was that was going on. Because this person not only fucked up my trust, it was just everything. He fucked up my perception of love. He fucked up my perception of myself. He made me feel bad about myself. I started thinking about how stupid I was to allow myself to be put in a position that was similar to my mother's and my sister-in-law's, who both had very abusive, very toxic, very narcissistic exes. And my dad was in a very abusive relationship. And I thankfully was not in the same boat as any of them. They had kids. Like, they had my siblings and my nephew from that, because I'm his step aunt technically, but I'm his aunt. They had children from those relationships or from those marriages, because my mom was married to her abuser. Now, I was fortunate enough not to have to deal with that. I got my cat. You can't see him. I got my cat. That was the only thing I had, and I didn't have anything from him cheating on me. I didn't have any reactions, STDs. I didn't have any of that. I got fucking lucky. And I don't know how. Somebody's luck must have been on my side, which does not happen often in this family. But I got very lucky not to have any more ties to him. I do not ever have to see him anymore. That song, ABCDEFU, I love that fucking song, because now that I'm finally out of that relationship, I hated being around his parents. His dad was a degrading piece of shit. His sister was just as bad, and her husband is also a fucking abuser. I don't have to deal with that toxicity anymore. I don't have to deal with any of that. And if you go and watch my old videos and everything from when I was in that relationship, and you can just see that I was not happy. And I'm gonna try to do a screen recording. I might not have the video like down here. I might not be able to splice it, but I do want to have like the audio playing in the background and me reacting to a lot of the shit that I went through in 2021 and in 2020, because that kind of growth I did not think I was going to have. Around that time, February, because it was the beginning of February, it was like February 4th or something like that. And keep in mind, my dad's birthday was 4 days later. I called my dad at 11 o'clock in the morning. I remember it vividly. Called him at 11 o'clock in the morning, the week of his birthday. My dad is going to be 50 this coming year. So he's getting a call from his 22-year-old daughter that her piece of shit boyfriend that he did not like broke up with her again. And when I sat down with him and was telling him everything, like finding out that he had cheated on me, he cheated on me with a coworker who was 19. That is the shit that pisses me off, because the reason he started talking to her was because he was like, I need to get a girl's perspective of how to deal with you. Maybe come and talk to your fucking girlfriend. Maybe that would have been, helpful. But, I digress. I hope he does better in this relationship, and I hope she does the exact same thing that he did to me. Break his heart, leave him in the dust, and you know what? If anything happens to him, it's not on me. But during that time in February, my current boyfriend started messaging me, and I did not think anything of it. At the time, I had somebody else trying to talk to me, and it was more or less just, we were just fooling around. It was nothing serious. But it was also nothing physical, because he too was in another state. But I don't want to remember that one, because he played me too. He fucking played me in a moment where I was vulnerable as shit. Now, Rylan was he still is a viewer of all my TikToks. He's my biggest supporter. He's one of my best friends, because obviously I have my girl best friend and then I have my boyfriend. And my best friend has said, she's like, I've never seen you this happy. Now, we started talking in February. I started gaining feelings about May. Yeah, about May, and then we got together in June. Now, I was fucking scared. I was terrified. This was the worst breakup I had ever been through. And it was to the point where I was just mad. I was mad at myself for putting myself in that position, and then I was mad at the world for putting me in that position, and then at the same time, I was not mad at my best friend, but she picked up on the signs much quicker than I did, because there's a video she sent me on TikTok. If you're looking at a red flag from your perspective, you're looking at it like a piece of paper. You can barely see it, but your friends who are looking at it from a different angle, they see that angle. Like, they're looking at it from the side, they see that angle. So it's like, you can see this plain as day when it's waving you right in the face, when you're looking at it from an outsider's perspective. But when you're looking at it from your perspective, you can't see it. So she sent me that and it made me feel a lot better. But I was so nervous and so scared to get to know anybody. I thought about downloading dating apps, and I download the app, and as I was making an account, I delete it because I was not ready. Rylan didn't sneak up on me, but my best friend told me, she's like, you need to find someone more like you, someone who's into the same things that you are, someone who is, who doesn't have necessarily like the same issues. Like, I have a lot of anxiety and I overthink and everything, but it not to the point where it's going to be like detrimental, but somebody I can easily talk to, somebody who I can relate to. We have a lot in common. There's little to nothing that we don't agree on. And I did not think that Rylan messaging me, because all he did, I was having a really rough time and I posted about it on TikTok, and I was saying like, I was tears just running down my face, was just saying like, never allow anybody in your life to make you feel this way. I wish I never felt this way. I hate that piece of shit and all this other kind of stuff. And he sent me a message on my Instagram and he's like, hey, I just wanted to make sure that you're okay. I went through a really bad breakup at the time he was processing everything, but he was towards the end of that process and I was slowly inching right behind him. So, I did not want to get attached, but the more he and I started talking, because he would message me at least once a day, and I did not think anything of it. I did my best not to be like, you know what, he's in another state, it's not gonna work out, this kind of stuff, this is Hallmark movie bullshit, this isn't gonna happen. Fast forward to being in the most healthy relationship I've ever been in. Oh, I want to go back and slap my 18-year-old self in the face. Like, you think, rub your two little brain cells that are tired together and think about this for a second. And I really wish I had. I did not want to get attached, but learning more about Rylan, and it was just one of those things where you're just like, we have everything in common. We get along great. Like, we can jump from one topic to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and not get tired of each other. And next thing you know, it's been 5 hours. Like, and then talking about, like, just being together and all that kind of stuff, and possibly moving in together, and what our future is. Like, everything aligns up. And it's not like I talk about this stuff in great detail, but there are some things where he's just like, it's the exact same. It's perfect. And it's fucking scary. I mean, obviously it's not perfect to the point where, like, we have no arguments or anything like that. But we have arguments about fandom shit. He likes certain characters that I don't. But it's more or less just because he's further ahead in certain series than I am, and I just don't like them at the moment. He's seen all the character development, my ass hasn't. But that's beside the point. I messaged my best friend and I sent her screenshots upon screenshots of Rylan and I's conversations before we started dating, and I'm like, is he dropping hints that he likes me? I don't know how I feel about this. Is he dropping hints that he likes me? And she's like, yes, it's you. He's dropping hints about you. And after I'm having that quarter-life crisis, I sent it, or I didn't send it, but I got a message the early morning of June 11th, and it was him confessing. that he really liked me, and he knows this is weird, and just everything. And just from then on, it has been the healthiest relationship I have ever fucking been in. And when my best friend gets so annoyed with me for talking about him so much, which she does a lot, my best friend is a fucking trooper. I love her to pieces. She's like, I've apologized to her numerous times. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I never shut up about him. I'm just really happy. She's like, no. I would much rather hear you talk about all the good shit and gush about him and everything and talk about how weird he is and all the stuff that you guys talk about and all that other kind of stuff. I would much rather hear about that than about how he's been treating you badly. And it's been... How long has it been? Hold on. July, August, September, October, November, December. It's about to be 7 months. It's been 6. So, and he has put forward so much effort that my ex, who I lived with, keep in mind, Rye is in another state. He's miles and miles and miles away. My ex wouldn't do half of this shit, and he lived with me. And at first, it was just like, I don't want to get too attached. I don't want to get hurt again. And I told him this. I'm like, I was very blunt, very honest about all the stuff that my ex had put me through, about everything that I was just anxious and wound up about. And he's like, I understand everything that you are telling me, and I'm looking at it from your perspective. I do not, under any circumstances, want to put you through anything like that. If you are not comfortable doing this, I am okay just being your friend and watching from the sidelines. But it was also just like that comfort and knowing that we have so much in common and there's so much about us that are very similar, that I was just like, it feels right. Like, I tried to convince myself that my ex felt right. My ex did not fucking feel right. You know how every girl is supposed to dream of her wedding day? I would have those dreams about my wedding day. And if you guys remember, I had my wedding dress. It was literally just a little $75 dress from JCPenney. It was a prom dress. It was really pretty. I actually cut the skirt and kept the top. But I would have these dreams about my wedding. With my ex, I was always a bystander. It was like I was watching everything go on its own, but I wasn't in it. Like having an out-of-body experience, that kind of thing, in my dreams. Now, when Riley and I started talking, and whenever we, obviously we're dating, it's a long-distance dating, and it's not like normal dating. But, which, by the way, I took every precaution, making sure that I knew everything about him, did background checks, all that kind of stuff. I'm safe. I know I'm safe. And, obviously, be very careful if you're going to meet someone online. This is not advocating 100%, hey, just meet someone online. No. Be careful. Just, which I understand in the world of technology, which is exactly what we are in, we meet a lot of people online, and we also fall in love a lot online. Meet in public spaces, be very safe, do background checks, get full names, get all this kind of stuff. If you can, talk to the parents, because usually, especially, my boyfriend has Italian in him. His mother will tell me. I love his mom, by the way. But, like, it just came so easily. But I would have dreams about, like, the possibility of getting married to Rylan, and it was always from my perspective. I could feel the weight of my dress, and I could feel myself crying, tears of happiness, that kind of thing, because I'm an emotional bitch. I could feel the flowers in my hand. I could see my best friend standing there, and then it would show like essentially like a little cut scene in my dream, and it would be to me standing in front of Rylan, and I could see everything perfectly. He's got little bits of scruff and fuzz and everything, and he's got really curly hair, and I could see the hair, I could see the eyes, I could see him like bouncing and being all excited and everything. And then at the same time, I could feel like I said, I could feel the weight of my dress and my bouquet and all that kind of stuff. And then at the same time, every time I like turned my head, I could see the person who was marrying us. I could see my parents. I could see I could see my best friend behind me. And it was so vivid that it just felt right. I did not ever think that was going to happen. And one of the things that I wanted for a really long time was the idea of having a camper. I just thought it would be nice to have my own little space, even with my ex, because it was just going to be my own space. It was going to be my little filming area. Excuse me, we did not have room in the house we were living in for me to have my own little area or anything like that. So I thought, like, finding a little camper, just a little bubble camper. And then fast forward to my 23rd birthday, my dad bought a $1,500 24-foot Jayco Hawk. Is that what mine is? Hold on. 1997 Jayco camper. Yeah, there we go. Or maybe it's 20 foot. Is it 20 foot? It's 20 foot. A 1997 Jayco 20-foot Hawk camper. And the person we bought it from was telling us that it was actually, she lived in it while she went through nursing school back in the early 90s and everything, which I was born in 98. This camper is the same age as my brother. I have a brother that's only a year older than me from my dad's previous relationship. He's 24. It's a 24-year-old camper. Everything in it is original. So we're having to tear everything out and change it and everything. But it's my own space. And I told Rye about it. I'm like, if you come to Ohio, would you be comfortable living in that for a little while? Because I do not think I have the capability to be able to handle renting or anything like that on my own. And also I have my cat. I don't want to get rid of my cat. I don't want to put him through any unnecessary stuff. I do need to get him like vaccines and everything because I do want to get another pet. I just want to get a small dog. And I told him about the camper and everything, and my ex thought it was a really stupid idea. My ex thought it was stupid. He also thought, engaged, remember, we were engaged. He thought me talking about weddings was pushing the limit. I started talking about everything that I wanted with Rhineland right off the bat. I told him I wanted to get married. I'm iffy about having kids. I'm open to having kids if we both agree and we're both financially stable enough to. But at the same time, if I don't have kids, I really don't care. If we have kids, I'm going to do my best to be a great mom. And he's on board with it. He was on board 100% because he's like, I want you. I want you and whatever the future has in store for us. Anything we can do together. We've got this. We're really good at communicating, and it makes me really happy. But when I told him about this camper, my mom was making fun of me because she's like, you do realize that you basically come from nothing, and your boyfriend is in Cape Cod. He's the house that they have is a really nice house. His mom is lucky enough to be like a data entry clerk, and she's like able to work from home at the same time. She has a little Etsy shop, which if you check my old video, I'll leave a card. It'll probably be at the beginning of this video, so I'm sorry. She has her own little Etsy shop. She makes homemade soaps and lip balms and stuff and sends me a bunch of them, and I really like it. And obviously I've bought a few things from her. And he was telling me about his stepdad and everything, and she's like, you do realize he has to remember you don't come from a lot. So when he comes down to Ohio, he shouldn't expect like the full 100% treatment and all this other kind of stuff, like the big fancy houses and the car and everything like that. I'm like, he doesn't care about that, and he has never once made me feel insecure about that. And I've told him this. He's like, no, I completely understand. I'm completely comfortable living in the camper with you until we're both able to come to a financial agreement to find a place. He has anxiety about driving, so do I. I want to try to get over it. He's not too comfortable trying to get over it at the moment. Totally understandable. So it's like doing our best to be we're talking shit out. I'm happy. I'm happy. And for the first time in a really long time, this is the longest I've had my hair. My skin has been, aside from this boy, my skin has been clear. This is mainly from work. My skin's been clear. My appetite's been good. I've kept a good weight. I haven't been anxious. I haven't been anything like that. I started a birth control. I have my own money. I have a camper that's about to be finished. I'm so fucking proud of myself because a year ago I would not have done this. Had I stayed with him, I'd be filing for fucking divorce. And like I said, September I started my first job. October, my best friend, actually, scratch that. August, my best friend took me to the zoo. I actually got to feed a giraffe. I was so fucking excited, which, keep in mind, our zoo is more or less, it's a wildlife conservation as well as a zoo. Does that make sense? Like, you can go and see the animals. They take really good care of them. A lot of like the money goes towards the animals. So if the tickets are up, they're like, oh, okay, this is going towards the animals, it's going towards food, shelter, all that kind of stuff. And they added a lot more animals that not a lot of us get to see. I love going to this stuff because I love learning about animals. So I always have. I grew up with Steve Irwin on the TV. I'm gonna start crying. Grew up with Steve Irwin on the TV, so I really like going to the zoo and learning about all the animals and, you know, being a smartass because I like to prove my siblings wrong. I went to the zoo when I was really little and my brother thought it was a water monitor, and it was a kimono dragon, and I didn't even read anything, I just said it. And I will be proud of myself for that. But, she took me to the zoo, and then fast forward to October. I know it's jumping around a lot, I'm sorry. Fast forward to October, I went to my first Renaissance fair. It was Halloween. I dressed up as Little Red Riding Hood. I had my little basket and everything. This is actually where I got my ring, which I absolutely love. And it gave me a panic attack the other day because I lost this thing for about a week. And then my mom found it by the register. The furnace register. And now we're here. Yesterday, my mom and I went out and I bought tile for my camper. Today I purchased a new heater because, like I said, it's a 1997. The furnace was 24 years old and it doesn't work anymore. So, yeah, everything else, the only thing I have to really worry about is I have to get the heat. My dad has to fix a couple of the lights. He got new propane tanks. My parents bought me a coffee pot for Christmas. I have an air fryer, griddle. They got me a shower curtain. I have a cutting board. I've got plenty of mugs and cups. I took the entire kitchen, aside from like stoves and appliances and whatnot, in my ex and I's breakup, so I'm good on the kitchenware. But at the same time, I think I'm going to get me some new stuff because it'll be my stuff. It won't be my mom's old stuff. It won't be my grandparents' old stuff, to a certain extent. But at the same time, in a way, I'm moving out. It's parked on my parents' lot, but I'm moving out. I'm moving out on my own for the very first time, but I'm not moving out on my own to the point where I'm going to be in another city. I'm between my dad's garage and my grandparents' house, and I am very happy with this decision because it's right at that comfort level where it's like, if something happens, everyone's right there. If something happens to my grandparents, I'm right there to help my parents. If something happens to my parents, I'm right there to help. If something were to happen to me, I'm surrounded by family. They don't have to drive. I don't have to force myself to get my license or anything like that. And I do understand I'm coming from a place of privilege. But I'm really proud of myself. A lot of the stuff that's went into the camper the past, from September until now, I have put in. I have helped my dad put it in. I bought my paneling. I bought my lock. Anything else, I bought the tile. I bought the adhesive. I bought the sealants. All that stuff. I bought it with my own money. I don't have to worry about anything that my ex wanted. I don't have to put anybody else's consideration into it. It can be exactly the way that I want it. This year has shown me so much in a very little amount of time. My ex did not fucking care about anything, including me. So I was very forward with Rylan whenever we first started talking. And he knew what he was getting into. And if it hadn't been for my best friend going, I think you should go for it. I think he's a really good match for you. I don't think we'd be together. And like, my best friend still sees the conversations, and I've told Rylan about this. There have been moments where I've taken his tone wrong, and he has made sure to clarify anything. I'm so fucking proud of myself. Like, there are still moments where I would think about what my ex put me through, and it still makes me mad. But like I said, I'm not over what he did to me. I'm over him. So it's like, there are moments where I'm still like, wow, I would have to beg and plead and basically throw a temper tantrum to get him just to put down his video games. And Rylan will message me in the middle of a D&D session with his friends. When I told him that my ex's female friends made me very uncomfortable, he never, not once, he has female friends, but he's talked about them, and they seem like the kind of girls that if he were to try anything, which I highly doubt he would, but if he was the kind to like try to step out on the relationship and cheat or try to get with one of them, they would slap the fuck out of him. And drop him like a hot potato. And like, he speaks so highly and so confidently of his friends, and then at the same time, if he's like going and staying with them or hanging out with them or for any length of time, he's like, hey, I'm gonna be here for X amount of hours, I don't know exactly how long, or something like that, so I'm gonna try to message as much as I can, I don't want you to worry. Because I did tell him that. I'm like, the only reason I was like clingy and not controlling, but it naggy towards my ex was just because I was like, you're out with your friends, I don't trust your fucking friends, I want to make sure you're okay. I trust Rylan and his friends. I trust that we've built enough of a relationship for him to be like, you know what, I don't want to try to do anything with somebody else because I have a really good girl. I have somebody that I see a future with, that I want to always be happy, and that is my number one priority. I didn't feel that with my ex. And I'm not crying because I didn't feel it with him. I'm crying because I allowed myself not to feel that security. My safety was not an option when it came to my ex. He would floor the car. He would just be an absolute dick. He would not help me with anything. He made up some stupid ass lie that he wasn't allowed to like keep a hold of my hand while we were at a roller skating rink, and I busted my ass. I had a huge bruise on my back and my butt and on my wrist because I caught myself. And I'm happy. And I can genuinely say that. Like, this is the longest my hair has been in years. I look at myself in the mirror and I feel pretty, I feel beautiful, I feel confident, and I've never felt that before. And I know I'm lucky to be able to have gotten a job, to have a good boyfriend, to be able to move out of my parents' house, but still have that security of still being at home in case something were to happen. So it's just like, in no way am I trying to boast or take advantage of this. I'm literally just sharing my story and what it was that I went through and all that kind of stuff. So 2021 started off bad, but it's ending on a really good note. I'm really happy. I'm with someone who loves me, my best friend, all my family are healthy. And I think 2022 is going to be a good year for me. I don't know how it's going to be for everyone else, but for me, I'm manifesting it. It's going to be a really good year. Did I say 2023 or 2022? I meant 2022, but you know what I mean. Oh, I turned 24. Fuck. I turned 24, which, speaking of age, I'm 2 years older than my boyfriend. I'm 23, he's 21. Now, people think that's really weird, but my sister-in-law is actually 2 years older than my brother. She's 28. Right? 20. Yeah, she's gonna be 29. She's almost 30. And people think it's weird. We're both consenting adults. It's really not that weird. His mom has met me. It's really not that weird. And like, we didn't start talking until he was 20 when he messaged me. And it didn't start out anything like overly sexual or anything like that. So I don't know why people have such a problem whenever I'm like, oh, I'm 2 years older than him. But I think it's because most people at work think I'm 18. So, I don't know. Actually, I have a couple people at work that think I'm 16. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for listening to me rant for like 40 minutes about the way my year has been. Yeah, I hope you guys have a safe and happy new year. I actually think I might get a little bit of alcohol because I'm overage. I might get a little bit of alcohol and drink and play some video games and whatnot, dress up, make myself look all pretty, and bring in the new year with maybe Stardew and watching a live stream. So, and then I go back to work on the 4th. My grandfather's birthday is January 3rd. He's going to be 81. And like I said, my dad's birthday is in February. He is going to be 50. And my sister-in-law's birthday is also in February. She's going to be 29. So definitely bringing in the new year with birthdays. We're going to be bringing it in with a lot more positive energy. So, oh, by the way, when the ball drops or when it hits midnight, shout Jumanji so we can get the fuck out of this COVID game. Because we have to get our boosters here soon. Hopefully we're able to. I don't know with how the cases have been in my area or not. Please remember, even if you are vaccinated, do your best to wear your mask. I do understand that a lot of places are probably like not completely against it, but also not completely for it at the same time. I know some people have some health issues where they can't get vaccinated, but you're supposed to still be wearing your mask. A lot of places don't make you because now it's not mandatory unless it's like a private business, unless it's like the rules in your place. But please remember, stay safe. Always have your little thing of hand sanitizer on hand, especially this time of the year. It's cold season, it's flu season. Go get your flu shot. Make sure you guys are all safe and okay. And I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas, a very happy Hanukkah, a very happy Kwanzaa, and I hope you guys have a wonderful new year, and I will see you guys in 2022. I love you. Bye.